Hi, this is Tim Ryan. Welcome to the Tim and Jenn show. It's his amazing wife.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Jimenez Ryan, and we are so happy you guys are here today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lots of things going on in the world right now.
Big day tomorrow.
Big day, inauguration day.
Yeah.
And I pray that we all are safe and that we all do the right thing and just allow our new president to come in.
I want to talk about this for a minute because this is, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat.
Or independent.
Independent, it doesn't matter. But we have come to a point in our society today to where we have 25,000 National Guard at the Capitol. But the sad part is they're all being vetted and have been vetted by the FBI.
Well, we have,
it's
emergency state alerts all over the country, babe.
Yeah,
tomorrow in California alone, they're going to have like 10,000 cops on duty. Everybody's coming on.
And it's happening everywhere. But this is where our country is right now. And it's a sad situation.
I was talking to someone the other day and I said, how do you feel about everything? And they said, listen, I'm just behind America. I believe in America. And I'm just so, my heart hurts a lot from everything that's going on. And
the COVID, we'll hit on that because it's still, actually it's up a lot, but they did say some of the hospital cases are going down, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing, it's a good thing, but for us, it's Tuesday vaccine day for us. And I'm just so happy that we were able to get the vaccine.
Yep,
and
we got our first vaccine. Whoop, whoop.
And I don't know how you guys feel about it. Please don't tell me your opinions in the sense of what's right or wrong, but knowing what you think, if you're going to take the vaccine, if once given a chance, I would love to know about that.
Yeah, if you have the opportunity to get it, everyone will, and they have different tiers and different parts. But are you going to get it? Because I've talked to a number of people that are healthcare workers and said, no, I'm not getting it. And it's a choice. But we had COVID for 6 weeks, kicked our ass, still have long hauler symptoms. Jenna has more than I do. But the good thing was, over the weekend, we got to enjoy another badass weekend.
So
it was 88 degrees.
Yeah, in California, it's been super hot.
Hold on, it's super hot like you.
Oh, thank you, honey.
You got it.
It's been so warm, and the weekend before we went to the Hollywood Reservoir and we walked around, and that was really great, and we did it with mask on and all that. And yesterday, on Sunday, Tim and I were driving, and he goes, let's go to the beach. And so us, alongside with half of California,
50,000 other people,
decided to go to PCH, and we were stuck in traffic about to hit Malibu, and we did a Yui, and I put in the car Manhattan Beach, and we drove to Manhattan Beach and ended up walking for 2 hours, and
it was amazing.
It was great.
Beautiful.
It was really great.
Beach was packed, but that's kind of where things are at. But I'm really excited.
Wait,
what?
I'm really excited. I know what you're going to say about
ahead.
Our guest, but I want to ask other people. I just celebrated, and I know that we had talked about that. I just celebrated 15 years. And,
I
was talking about it on the show 2 weeks ago, and it was Tim and I talking with you guys, and I got really emotional, and I started thinking about things, and then life took over. And about on Saturday, I think it started hitting me holy shit, I got someone did an X and a V, 15, and I went, whoa, hold on, this is crazy. And Dr. Drew sent me a message, and that was so great. And I just got a lot of love and support, and I want to thank everybody. I'm trying to respond to everybody right now, but it's a little overwhelming, but I'm trying slowly but surely. I'll get to you. I want to thank you, and more importantly, it's just one moment at a time, sometimes, and with that, I'm really I still have my character defects. I still have my isms I suffer from. And one of the things I was listening to today, because I listened to my little Abraham Hicks and other speaker tapes and stuff like that. And I heard, what are you speaking to yourself? What are you what is your head telling you? What voice is speaking to you? Is it the good one or is it the bad one? And how do you change it? Because if you're always going to think dark or act dark and be dark, guess what? You're dark. So I need to change the conversation in my head. And it's really important that we do that. And another thing is laughing.
Gotta laugh.
We
You
have
have to
had,
laugh.
yesterday we were driving and you're like, I'm so glad we have so much fun together. And, we were laughing. We did a bunch of dorky things earlier in the day. And then like today, this morning, I apparently sleep like this. And I put my hand over Tim when I sleep and I talk in my sleep. And I did this in the morning. He's like, you're triggering trauma. Which was hilarious. And then like I turn on the TV and like we just laugh, we're dorks. I turn on the TV and like he's like, oh my God, I love this song. No, the commercial. And like I would not ever register like what kind of song that was, but in your head
It was Brian Ferry in a TV commercial.
Okay, but it does not sound like
Roxy Music. Come on.
Jeez Louise. Okay, so
right, enough of that.
Yeah.
And I apologize. I should have said something. 15 years, Jennifer, is a fucking huge milestone. And I want to say something. Just stop. I know it's hard for you. One of the coolest things Jennifer received was on Twitter. A lady had sent her a message and a retweet from Jen responding to this lady 10 years ago when she was trying to get sober. And the lady retweeted that and said, Jennifer, I just want to let you know, you took the time to send me this message 10 years ago. And that was the day my journey of recovery started. And I just celebrated 10 years clean and sober. The point is, thank you for doing what you've done for so many people and being a voice and an OG out there, because you're one of the ones that helped start this whole movement. But you never know what your voice or message is going to do to help someone. And our next guest is...
I want what he has.
Yeah, is a dear friend of ours. We talk probably every day, sometimes 2-3 times a day.
He's my saving grace with you, I'm just saying.
But no, Kevin Mikolazyk is our guest on the show. Kevin, welcome. How are you?
Hey, Tim and Jenn, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being on the show.
I just want to start out by saying that, had my wife just celebrated 15 years, it would have been at the top of my list of things.
Some things never change, do they, Kevin?
Well, you need to be held accountable.
Payback is a bitch. Don't you worry about that one. And at the end of the show, we will be giving out Kevin's personal cell phone number so anybody can call him and reach him, his home address, and his Cash App password. But anyhow, no, Kevin, it's great to have you on the show. And
how's freezing cold Boston or Massachusetts?
You're out on the Cape.
I'm out on Cape Cod, the arm of Falmouth. It's the arm of Massachusetts. It's today it was in the mid 40s. We've kind of had a mild winter so far, so I'm counting my blessings. We haven't had that deep cold like we can normally get, but I'm sober today. I'm blessed. I have a beautiful family and nothing to complain about.
Yeah, you do have a beautiful family. I absolutely love your wife.
Amazing wife, JoJo, and Boopa, your daughter. But the last time I was at your house out on the Cape talking about the snow, there was a blizzard, and I think I had to change my plane ticket to wait a couple days to fly out. When it snows out there, I mean, it's not a couple inches, it's foots of snow, feet of snow, foots of snow. It's feet of snow, and but it's amazing.
I've never been. Oh, except wait, we were at the tip of Massachusetts to Connecticut, remember?
Something like that, yeah. Right there. But anyhow, so Kevin, you
wait a minute. First and foremost,
what?
I want to, because you're going to dive deep into everything, and I know you guys can go back and stuff, but how are you dealing with everything that's going on in this new world that we're living in? Because everyone always asks that question.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, when it all first started, it was definitely a struggle. Life came grinding to a screeching halt, and we had to learn how to adapt and adjust. And myself being a person in recovery, I thrived on that community connection, and that was taken away from us. So it's been an experience, but I always remained faithful and continued to pray my way through it. And it's stayed close to family, stayed close to friends on phone. I took full advantage of all the Zoom meetings that were going on. So, the format changed, but the formula didn't change,
Yeah, and we'll get in later on kind of what you do. And because you're involved in a ton of support group meetings for people that are alcoholics, drug addicts, families, you're always doing things. but you're also a person that's 17 years clean and sober, and you're doing all that. But I'm going to tell you, I'm a little over 8. Jen's obviously 15. I still miss the face-to-face, going to a meeting, hugging a friend, high-fiving a brother, meeting a newcomer, hearing an old-timer, and just the camaraderie. I miss that. Maybe that's why we talk so much, you know? But it's that, those are the things that are important, is the connection and purpose, and FaceTime and Zoom meetings and doing what we can now, because the mind's a fucked up place, and we're seeing a lot of people that are early recovery, long-term recovery, OGs that are relapsing and committing suicide, and we have a pandemic within a pandemic that we always talk about.
I got to be honest too. I mean, I've seen a ton of success stories of people, you know, fresh out of detox. They show up at Zoom meetings, and, you know, now they have 5-6 months sober, you know. So it's, you know, one of my first sponsors, you know, really instilled in me that you have to be able to adapt. Life is always going to throw you curveballs. Life is going to happen. Good things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen, but you have to be able to adapt. And I think, you know, if you really look at the positive side of it, you know, if this was in 1980 and we didn't have Zoom as an option, it would have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
You know,
you were talking about, Jen, you were talking about that last week, or about the people that have got sober in the past year. What were you saying about that?
Well, I mean, I really commend anyone who got sober in the last year. It's tough, or even stayed sober 5 and under, you know, like it's not easy, like where you're like, we're all about having a communicative relationship. That's what the steps are about with ourselves. You know, the 12 steps, when people who may be listening don't know, is with ourselves, with someone else, our sponsor, mentor, you know, other people, and then most importantly with a power greater than us, whatever that is for you. And to not be able to have this every single day, it's like, I salute anyone who stayed sober. They're my heroes.
Kevin, you're in a badass situation like I am. Your wife is in long-term recovery too. How much time does JoJo have?
She has 20 years.
Wow. So you guys are together. She's sober. She's on this, she does a healthy eating and training people with that. But you guys also have the support to support each other. You know, a lot of people don't. So
wait, I commend you, by the way. You just dropped how much?
Yeah. How much weight have you lost?
Just about 25.
So I was thinking about this, and I need to get honest. You have motivated me to quit smoking, which I did. I vape a little bit now, but I'm trying to get off that. And you motivated me to get on a diet. I've lost 7 pounds in the past 5 days.
Nice.
You're on day 7 or 8 today, babe.
Day 8.
No, 9. You're on day 9. I'm on day 10.
Okay, so we're both dieting, and
differently,
you know, I want to focus on taking care of myself. You know, I'm 52. You're 42.
Okay, we can say 42.
38, whatever. You
42
know, it's. I want to be around.
Another thing, Tim, you're dropping the ball all over the place.
I know, like, it's horrible, babe. That's not cute at all. At all.
I know how old my wife is.
Yeah, you don't ever like say things like that. I mean, it's on Wikipedia,
Here we go again.
But like
Wikipedia,
but it's true. I kind of try to play it off, like I'm trying to, because afterwards, I write down notes, and then I'll be like, "What the fuck are you?" You know, even I might as well just, since you added them, what the fuck were you thinking? Now people are gonna be all Wikipedia and that shit. Like,
good. Then go watch some of her movies. Stop. You know what we've been watching though? You're
trying to sidetrack. You're like,
I'm
whatever.
I'm pretty good at this.
No.
We actually started watching some of the old Sober House shows.
We watched 3 episodes,
but it was
I've never seen any.
It's pretty cool to see what you were thrown into there. But anyhow, Kevin, I want to talk about, you know, you're 17 years sober. What was kind of your journey like? You grew up in Fall River, Massachusetts?
Yep.
So what year did you graduate high school?
1993.
Okay, so I was 86, but that's where your ripping and running started, in high school.
Absolutely. I mean, it, you know, started early teens, you know, kind of dibbling and dabbling with alcohol that eventually led to pot. And, you know, pretty much by the time I graduated high school, you know, I was pretty much full-blown alcoholic at that point in my life.
Damn. I mean, think about that. Full blown. I knew the first time I got drunk and puked, I'm like, I like this. And I'm going to figure out how to do it where I don't throw up.
How old were you
What do you mean?
when you took your first drink or drug?
13.
13.
Yeah.
That's 12. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Was it game on like for you right there? Like, was it like, oh, okay, this feels good and I'm going to keep doing it?
It was. I know a lot of people talk about like the instant they did it, they knew they had found solution. I just can't relate to that. You know, I know it was something I continued, and something that early in my life started causing issues, causing me to change my goals. There's a part in the big book I like. It talks about alcoholics change their goals to meet their behaviors. Non-alcoholics change their behaviors
To meet their goals.
to meet their goals. And that
Yeah.
was me in a nutshell. You know, I wanted to go to college, but, you know, at that point I was so wrapped up, I put college aside. I just started working, you know, and it was that kind of vicious cycle for almost, 16 years of my life.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I wasn't a full-fledged, full-blown alcohol. I didn't know about any of that stuff anyways, but overnight. Like, I loved the effect that day, that first drink. Like I just felt like invincible. But like I wasn't like, oh my God, this is it. Like I'm gonna keep doing it and I'm blackout that night,
But I think you grew up in a time too, Kevin, to where there wasn't many consequences. There wasn't people getting DUIs and how the cops would pull you over, they'd drive you home, or they'd call your parents. Yet I graduated high school, my dad had a case of Heineken waiting for me. I lived on a lake. If you're going out in the boat, you bring booze, you bring girls, or you bring boat gas. It was just a way of life. But when I got 18, 19, 20 and really got into the drugs, that's when all hell broke loose. How about you? So out of high school, what did you do? Odd jobs, or did you have a career outside of being an alcoholic?
No, I worked in this diner till I was 21. I just want to touch on what you were kind of talking about too, is, drinking, and that was almost passed down from generation to generation.
Yep.
The older guys taught us how to do it. We in turn taught the next generation how to do it. And, when I look back, that's such a regret, because, knowing what I know now and how my life, eventually took a drastic turn, and how many other kids that we grew up with, some of them passed, some of them are sober, but, I think that's where we make a mistake today is, kids still look at this, and even some parents condone it, that, it's kind of like a rite of passage. Like, it's normal for kids to do that in high school when it's not.
So you bring up a great point, because I had brought this up a few years ago. When, God forbid, somebody dies from a drug overdose, they want to blame the drug dealer. But when somebody gets in a car crash or dies from alcoholism, specifically at a young age, they want to blame alcohol. So I was in a debate at one of my support groups with the parent, and I said, so God forbid someone dies, you want the drug dealer to go to prison? They said, absolutely. I said, what if the kid's 25 years old, they're driving, they get in a car wreck, God forbid they kill someone, you want to blame alcohol? I said, why don't you go back and see who that kid first started drinking with at 15 years old? It was his father. And his father condoned and let him drink and taught him that. But you don't want to go back and blame the father. You want to blame alcohol. Mm-hmm. That's where this whole stigma and system, it's completely broke. When my son died, I blame the disease of addiction. I could blame this, I could blame that. But, that's how we need to look at this. But you're right, and too many people today still condone it.
Absolutely. And it's, it's like a rite of passage. Oh, kids are going to be kids. And, back in the, 70s, 80s, we weren't armed with the information that we have today. And it's,
oh yeah,
90% of addictions start in the teenage years, and it's a proven fact that, if a kid can wait till they're 21, even a little bit older, to even just start drinking, that, the frontal lobe of their brain is fully or almost fully developed, and the chance of ever, having a substance use disorder or alcohol use disorder drastically drops.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and parents don't understand the brain doesn't 24 to 26 years old.
But there's like, besides like the disease part of it, like the we see how we, like it's a genetic, I was born, my family, my timeline, like my father, addict, and it's in me, right? So, but given no coping skills or like a lot of childhood trauma that I never addressed, like, hi, I'm a full-fledged, like it's on game. But if you look at it, like the people that are living longer now, like people are living a lot longer. That's the baby boomers, right? They're living a lot longer. Now, the millennials are products of our generations here,
right.
So they're seeing what their parents did. And a lot of them are sober curious, or they're full-fledged dropping dead, or fully addicted right now. Like there's no in between, like, and they're either not doing it because I saw it in my parents, or they're like in it deep, or gonna be in it deep. And unfortunately, it's a different time. Like it's a different time. So I think about like Mackenzie's generation coming up, whatever that Z, Y, whatever it's called, like, and how they're seeing everything, especially with this pandemic, within a pandemic that's going on at home, isolated, seeing mom and dad. A lot of people are, more addicted than ever before, and what they're seeing.
Yeah, it's nuts. But Kevin hit the nail on the head. Times were much different in the 80s, early 90s. Christ, we didn't have cell phones. They were just starting to come out. Man, have things changed. We were watching, what's the show we were watching the other night? The serial killer. The Night Stalker, but they had a fingerprint and they were trying to get him, but it was all on.
Like, why can't they get him?
It was
they
all
should
on
know.
Microfilm. They didn't have computerized systems.
I'm like, what about his DNA? And he's like, babe, they didn't do that back then.
Yeah, it's nuts. But back to your journey. So 21, you're in a restaurant. Then what? What happens from there?
At that point, and I think a lot of people who struggle go through this and come to this kind of decision that, everyone else around me, it's the people, it's the places, it's the things, it's the city I grew up in, it's my friends. And my best friend growing up, Chris, had just moved out to Fresno State to play basketball for Jerry Tarkanian. And at that point, he was doing okay. And so he's like, why don't you just come out here and get the change? So, I packed up my stuff, threw it all in a car, drove cross country, and ended up in Fresno, California. And that's kind of.
Can you elaborate a little bit on who your friend Chris is, for those who may not know?
Chris Herren, he's a recovery advocate. He played for the Denver Nuggets, Boston Celtics, lost his career to addiction, has since become sober, almost 12 years. He was featured in ESPN 30 for 30 Unguarded. Also did another film called The First Day, which was geared towards students. Also the founder of the organization that I run, Herren Project, and also founder of a residential wellness facility, Herren Wellness, which is in Seekonk, Massachusetts, and also in Virginia, where they just opened their second location.
Wow, good at giving plugs.
I
to
know.
Chris Herren. Give you kudos.
That's
for that.
amazing.
No, Chris is
I've been
actually
doing it since like 5 years old.
no,
So.
Chris is a friend of ours, and he's actually, one of my mentors. And when I got out of prison, one of the people I looked up to, and I finally got connected with Kevin, and the doors really opened. But you and Chris grew up together. You were best friends since kids, and partied and ripped and ran. And so now he's, on a college scholarship.
And you go to
Sacramento.
Fresno.
He talks you into coming out.
A little bit south of Sacramento,
Yeah.
on 99.
So you come out to Fresno, and what was it like? Was Chris partying the way he used to, or were you partying more? Or was it okay for a while? How did that journey look?
I almost feel like he hoodwinked me a little bit. He's like, come on out, I'm doing good. I don't ever remember any good moments. I think that, they're reuniting the two of us. But it was crazy. Here he is, projected to be, top 15 in the NBA draft, scoring 20, 30 points, playing on national TV. And then, we're living a total double life. After the games, we're up all night, drinking, doing cocaine. And, it ended with a very he had to publicly confess basically on ESPN that, he had a drug problem and went away to rehab.
Wow.
So, it's, looking back at those times, it's a source of regret for me, that I couldn't have been a better friend, but, look at how it turned out. You can totally tell where God had his hand in it the whole time and knew exactly what he was doing and had the perfect plan, because, I truly believe, myself and also Chris were put on this earth to help people and to be of service.
That you just hit me with something, and I want to reiterate, you weren't Chris's downfall. I mean, Chris made his own choices, but yeah, you get two buddies together, because when I was 21, I checked into rehab. I had a passport. I was moving to Zell am See, Austria, because my best friend Eric was playing pro hockey for Team Austria. And I chose to go to rehab because I knew if I got on that plane, I wasn't coming back, and I'd probably destroy his career. But he was playing pro hockey at the time. I just talked with him today, but wow, that just kind of brought that back. But I'll tell you, one of the coolest things was when I was in rehab, they pulled me out of group and said I had a phone call, and it was Eric calling from Austria to give me a high five. And that still hits me to this day. But that's what friends are for. And the way your story turns, and we'll get into it, but so Chris ends up leaving, goes to rehab, and ended up getting drafted. And you stayed in Fresno.
Now, are you full-fledged, just, it's all, like, are you...
Is it game on?
Are you in deep in the disease at that point, or are you, like, kind of midway?
No, I'm strung out to the gills.
Okay.
I mean, I was always kind of good at, like, making the outside look good. So I had, a career, I had a fiance who dodged a total bullet, So, I lived another 4.5 years out in Fresno, and I had
West Coast for 7 years.
West Coast, Fresno.
Wow.
Wow. So then, what was the downfall, Kevin?
So I kind of, a couple things happened. I was working for Cisco Food Service, and I'll tell the story because I kind of get a kick out of it this day, but and it really speaks to like how I was thinking. But this customer paid me with $10,000 in cash.
Nice.
Mistake.
Salesperson's job to take the money that the customer pays you, bring it to the bank, deposit, log it, yada, yada, yada. I baked up a plan where I purchased $2,000 worth of oxys, left me with $8,000, figured, what am I going to do now? So I'm like, I'll take the $8,000, I'll go to the casino, I'll triple it, I'll pay back the 10, I'll have 2,000 worth of oxys, and I'll have 14,000 in cash.
I love her thinking.
It was the perfect plan on paper.
And what happened?
I was out of that casino in about 20 minutes.
Broke.
Total, like, you couldn't have, like, in a movie where, like, I had 20s and, like, the dealer was hitting 7-card 21s. You know what I mean? It was just, like, it was a total, just downward spiral of the money just disappearing.
Wow.
So when did shit hit the fan that you didn't deposit the $10,000 in the bank?
A couple weeks later, they came, where's the money? I'm like, I dropped it in the parking lot. I was, scared to tell you guys. They were like, well, just give us your laptop and your job here is done. That led to the end of my engagement. And then the next 6-8 months, I was pretty much homeless, living on the streets of Fresno, living in a truck that was up for repossession, which is comical considering what I do part-time and done so for the last 14 years.
Payback's a bitch, isn't it?
Totally.
I'll never forget. So I'm in Buffalo, New York, and I had my marketing company and I lost it. So I had a 91 or 94 Taurus, and it gets repoed. Well, I got a job at Gambino Ford in Lockport, New York, selling cars. and the truck comes in from the auctions, and I look at Pat Gambino. I said, "That's my Ford Taurus." He goes, "How do you figure?" I said, "Look at the headrest. There's a stain from where I threw up drinking Cisco driving down the road on Lakeshore Drive in Chicago. And sure as shit, it's my car." Now I get my car repoed, and do you know what it's like to be working on a car lot and your car comes in and it's like, Pat's like, "Why didn't you tell me? I could have helped you." I'm like, "I don't know, but yeah."
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I can't believe you were homeless for 6 months.
6 to 8.
6 to 8.
6 to 8 months. Yeah.
Not that, oh my God, it's a big, but it's just so wild because there's some things I just don't know about you. And just like you, of me, and it's kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe we've made it through all this insanity. The shit that makes we think it becomes logic. It's no big deal.
Well,
wait, hold on. It's no big deal. I remember my lights, I'm in all these movies, right? And I don't pay rent, or do I pay my lights? My lights go off. And so I start lighting candles, and I'm like, it's just so much more artistic this way. And I'm reading the script high as a kite, right? Didn't show up to the audition. But I was like, no, I'm fine. It's okay. It's I can live like this. What? That's not rational thinking. You're homeless. We make
scams, the cons, I mean, it is, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to flip this. I'll pawn this. I'll get this. I'm going to double this. And so you're homeless.
And I want to say, because this was, and, I deal with families often, and this, so right before becoming homeless, I still had this family in Fresno that we were close with, that I could always go and stay and live with them when things got tough. And I was there for a week, and I stole $100 out of the guy's wallet. He never actually admitted that he knew I did it, but he came downstairs and he looked me straight in the eye, and I had so much respect and admiration for this guy. He was like a father to me, and he said, "You know what, Kevin, this just isn't working anymore. You can't stay here. You got to go." And that was my last go-to, the person I would turn to when I got in trouble. He was my last enabler. My family was all back in Massachusetts. They really didn't know what was going on. So that hit me in the gut. And the next 6 to 8 months were just, scraping by. Once in a while you'd, hustle up enough to stay in a hotel. But, I remember it was in the winter too. In Fresno, it gets 40s at night, but
sure,
it's a lot colder up there than it's here.
You sleep in your truck and you wake up in the middle of the night and you start it just to get some heat, just to warm it back up, and then you shut it off. And it was such a miserable existence. And then I remember it clearly. I was driving down Blackstone Avenue, and I was just, all the emotions inside me were just bubbling up. And for the first time in my life, alcohol and drugs weren't working, and it was this emotional bottom, and it led me to pick up the phone and call my brother back in Massachusetts and say, "You know what, I need help." And I was fortunate that, my family threw me a life jacket, flew me back to Massachusetts. Like a good alkie, I missed the plane twice. But I made it back to Massachusetts, and, I remember the next morning I woke up in my mother's house, and I'm probably being dramatic, but she threw the phone book at me and said, "Start calling places, because you can't stay here. You're going to have to figure this out." And
good mom.
Yeah. And that's what I needed in the moment. I know people, today want everyone to figure it out for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Pick up the phone and start calling. I don't know what you're going to do, but you can't stay here." And, I found the bed at Gosnold on the Cape.
Amazing.
Which you toured. And, the next day I was driving down there, and, that's where my journey back began.
So
I remember
go ahead.
The sign out front of Gosnold that says, it's the only thing I remember from the ride, but when you pull up there, it says "a bridge back." And, really that's what Gosnold was to me, was a bridge back. And but it wasn't, they gave me the tools and the resources and the knowledge of what I had to do. I still had to take those steps and walk over that bridge myself. But I had people there cheering me the whole way. And, I've just stayed with the same simple formula that worked back then.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Go
I gotta
ahead.
say this. You just said something that like totally just dropped me. Like that is so, like I'm losing the words right now, babe. Again, COVID, post-COVID. That is like, that literally moved me because the impact that your statement just said, like just, you had to do.
You did the work.
And they cheered you on. Like, and it's true what you said earlier about how like people expect you and I and Tim to do the work. Like people reach out to us and they're like, where can I go here in this city? It's like, Google's your friend. Like, I get it. Like, I get that people don't know what they don't know, but like what recovery is about and what the 12 steps and all this stuff that we do is about us being willing to do the work, but like other people cheering us on and loving us through it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, it's the premise of other recovery fellowships, refuge recovery. It's self-accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work. No one can do it for you. You don't learn it by osmosis. You got to do the work.
And so many people want a baby and can't, and I'm not that way. It's you either do it. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I think that you've grown more into that now. I think you're like so not that person anymore.
Yeah, but it's like you got two choices. You either do the work or you're going to relapse and you're going to end up in prison or you're going to be dead. But no one can do it for you. And we can give you the tools and prod you up. It's funny. You'll get people, oh, you saved me. You saved my life. I didn't save anyone's life. I guided and directed you. You did the damn work.
Mm-hmm.
It's
true.
So
people always find recovery. Whether you're dead or alive, when you do.
Bam, that's powerful. So you went to treatment. Did you go to sober living? What did you do after that?
I went to what's called in Massachusetts, it has called a TSS. It's Transitional Support Services. So I stayed there for 42 days, and that place was a blessing. It was just filled with loving, caring people that were in recovery, that had done it themselves, that just poured their hearts and souls into the work that they were doing. And, at this program, you could start making connections in the outside AA world. And, I was fortunate that I got swooped up by a pack of old timers. I always like to say I was raised by a pack of old timers.
Awesome.
And, the type that just said, shut up, get in the car, we're going. In Massachusetts, we do commitments. So like one group will go take 5 or 6 people to another group, and those 5 or 6 people will speak. They're called speaker meetings. So we used to travel all over Massachusetts and go to meetings and go out for ice cream after. And it was just like, I couldn't believe it. And if you look at like the one guy I always think of, Grizz, 300-pound, 70-year-old man, just full of love. Like we had zero in common, but this guy just totally took my hand and showed me the way and connected the most important thing he did was connected my hand with my higher power's hand.
Boy, you're doing a few mic drops here.
Mm-hmm.
This is
beautiful.
But people don't understand when you hear someone 15 years, 17 years, it truly lives a life of recovery and has a spiritual realm in their life. They know a lot more than I do. It's as simple as that. And, that's why I got out of prison. I gravitated towards people that had a lot more recovery, true recovery, because that's what I needed to learn from. Because for 30 years, I'd hang out with a guy that's 2 weeks sober. And a week later, we'd be smoking crack on the west side. So
the people that taught you how to be of service, I have to say, I'm like just kind of always like the ear listening to you guys throughout us traveling the country the last almost 2 years. you guys are helping other people constantly, and you guys are like going, hey, this kid, can your, foundation help? Can your foundation help? Like, and you guys are putting people, indigent people or people who are just lost on the streets. You guys are both like teaming up, and it's because of what people taught you and you that you guys are doing. But we'll get more into that. And I'm really thankful about these people that helped you get to where you're at right now.
So fast forward, how long were you in recovery before JoJo walked into your life?
She 13-stepped me, right?
Good for her.
I was 11 months sober,
Awesome.
And she would have been 4 years sober at that point.
So then you guys started dating, and you've been together ever since, and got married and had Bupa. But so did you work for her family's business for a while? Is that what you started doing?
I did that, and then I also did real estate for many years. I started my own company. I specialized in corporate contracts, so I had contracts with like Chase Bank, Bank of America, some of the other big servicing companies, and I would manage their distressed and foreclosed properties and resell them to the banks.
Wow.
So when did things come full circle, and because you were very instrumental in getting Chris clean and sober?
I mean, instrumental in the fact that I really just passed on what I had learned.
Sure.
And he had a decision to make whether he was going to walk that path too. And, I was there for him and helped him secure a bed at the Miller House where you went. And, he did the work from there. And, even in the work we do today, it's all you can do is provide opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But you provided, after that, you provided a sofa for him to live on, and he works part-time with you. But, and those are the things that I talk about that I know that I think is badass, because hey, it's your friend, but you probably would have done it for anyone in recovery. Our
house was like a frat house for many years.
Right. I mean, that's just the type of person you are. And then he started doing what he did, and now fast forward here, he's 12 years sober, you're 17, but you run the Herren Project. You're executive director of the Herren Project. What is the Herren Project?
Great question. So when Chris got sober, there was Liz and Chris. Chris was, former Dream Team Hall of Fame basketball player that is in recovery. So when Chris hit his bottom, Chris Mullen actually reached out and said, we have a place for you to go in New York. Will you take this gift from our family? And Chris took it. So, when Unguarded came out on ESPN, he started getting all these messages of people looking for help. And he was like, I got to start a nonprofit. We have to do whatever we can to help these people. And the last 10 years, it's grown and grown. And, our mission is to support, inspire, and empower those affected by substance use disorder. And, the majority of the population we work with is indigent or underinsured or no insurance people, which is my favorite group of people to work with. Because we're able to provide opportunities that, they would not normally get. We're able to provide them a pathway to recovery. And, our kind of mantra at Herren Project is we walk with you. And that's really what we try to do, is walk with people on their journey to recovery. So it's not just about getting someone into detox. It's really about bringing them into our family, into our community, and really staying with them through the whole journey. We provide a ton of scholarships to sober living, to support people transitioning out of treatment. We do a tremendous amount of work with the families. So we have 7 or 8 social workers that work for us, and we provide 18 weekly family support groups via Zoom. And those reach hundreds of people a week. We do online nightly.
18 different online groups a week.
That's amazing.
And they meet all different times. There's different subjects. There's like family support, there's spousal support. So if your spouse is struggling, they kind of need different support. My favorite groups, just because of what it's done for this group of people and how they've connected and turned such a tragedy into an opportunity to heal, is the grief support groups. It's for people who have lost someone to a substance use passing. And, every year we do a retreat for everyone in those groups, and they come together. And, it's the unfortunate side of the work we do.
And I commend you and the Herren Project, because
we do.
When I started doing what I do, and I run a foundation, and at one time we're getting up there, and I just shifted directions. We still have it, but you guys, through trial and tribulation, do so much more to support families than any other nonprofit I've seen out there in this space. And I thank you. And what Jen was talking about earlier, I got a call from a guy in Chicago. I got into a detox, and I said, once you get in there, call me. And he wanted to go to a program we used in South Carolina. Well, I had enough money to get him there. So I called Kev. He's like, dude, you know who? Call Angie, get it set up. That quick.
But you guys do this all the time.
All the time. I mean, do you know how many families the Herren Project has assisted since their inception? Roughly?
I mean, I should know that, but I mean, it's in the multiple thousands.
Tens of thousands. I mean, because there's different facets of sober living into long-term treatment programs, assigning this, the online support groups. I mean, you guys are touching, and with what Chris does, millions of people.
Yeah.
And I thank you for that, and I commend you, because nobody's giving you a pat on the back. You're the executive director. You're not getting a star and an award, and people don't see all the darkness and the person that died or this or whatever. They don't see everything else on the other. They see all the shiny and pretty stuff. But man, I commend you, brother, and I fucking thank you for your friendship. I'm glad that you are in our world, man. We absolutely love you, and I look up to you.
Love you guys too. And then we're constantly, it's probably not the right term, but under siege, just people reaching out with nothing. And, a lot of times, we're able to help when no one else could. And, we can provide an opportunity. And, we're 100% donor funded. We don't take state or federal money, so it's quite a bit to keep it going. And
so how can people listening, if they want to donate or get information, how can they find the Herren Project?
HerrenProject.org.
Spell it.
HerrenProject.org.
So, because I always screw up Herren and I screw up your last name, but people can go there. They can make an online donation.
Make an online donation. All the services we provide are free of charge. All our support groups are run by licensed clinicians, which is a little bit different than a lot of them. So you get a psycho-ed component to it, and you get the mutual support. So you can sign up for a support group. I mean, we host nightly recovery meetings every night of the week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those are great. And then also Herren Project clubs, which I'm super proud of. We have 200 schools across the country that have implemented our club program, which is designed to be implemented in schools, and it teaches kids healthy coping skills, stress management, how to be a leader. Because we see it and you guys see it, it's the underlying stuff.
Yeah.
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 Stress, it's the anxiety, it's the pressure, which ultimately leads kids to turn to risky behaviors. And, so our goal is to really empower them, help them become leaders, and give them the tools and the resources to manage those years of your life with healthy ways.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I'm awestruck by you, because I know that you are so active in all those areas, and also your recovery too. I see how much you work on yourself and are always giving to others, and are a family man, at the same time. Like, it's a lot of hats you're wearing. And it's nice to see some men like you and Tim that like really walk the walk.
And you know what it is though, behind us is the strong women. You know, you've got JoJo, I have Jennifer, and really that's what it is, because it gets tough giving, and you've got balance. I see it. You're not a compulsive workaholic. You spend time with your wife. You're not eating by yourself, and we could actually have 20 minutes to talk. And I think she was on a walk, but
I like to take naps.
Yeah, we talk about our naps. Naps are good. I was talking with a friend of mine today who was 41. And he said, so how old are you, Tim? And I said, I'm 52. He said, well, what happens after you turn 50? I said, your naps become longer.
Wait, so Tim walked yesterday, hills and stuff, for 2 hours. Like, Tim doesn't walk at all. And last night he was like, babe, it's 7:15. We're watching 60 Minutes. And he's like, I think I got to go sleepy time now. Then all of a sudden he falls asleep at 7:30. And he goes and he wakes up like 5 minutes later. He's like, I just can't believe all the manual labor you made me do, babe.
But we were walking these steep hills. Man, my calves were burning.
We just took a walk in the woods today. I'll be sleeping like a baby.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, it's past your night time. Kevin, how can people, if they want to follow you or contact you, how can they find you?
Right on the website. My email and phone number is on herrenproject.org.
Social media?
Do you use social media, Instagram, anything like that?
Facebook.
All right, cool.
Pick up the Instagram. I just can't get into it. I get caught in scroll holes and I can't get to anything else.
I hear you. We
love you so much. Kevin, we thank you. Yeah, we want you back on very soon. And I'll talk to you right afterwards, I'm sure.
So if you want to follow or get more information, or please make a donation, herrenproject.org. If you want to get a hold of Jennifer and I, dopetohope.com. We're here for you. Kevin can help. Jennifer can help. I can help.
Thank you, Lux Media.
Yeah, thank you, Lux Media, for our platform. And Kevin, it was absolutely awesome having you on. Go enjoy your sleep.
It was incredible.
And I will talk with you tomorrow. For the Tim and Jenn Show, Kevin,
we love you.
Jen, Tim, signing off. We'll talk to you next week. We want to talk to you about Clean Cause, better caffeine. What's in the can? Our organic, sparkling Herba Mate is a premium pick-me-up that won't let you down. Every can of Clean Cause contains 160 milligrams of better caffeine, and each sip supports recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. 50% of the profits go to assist people into sober living. Check out cleancause.com.
Seaside Palm Beach is an executive luxury addiction treatment center located in Palm Beach, Florida. Our private clients come from all over the world, including business executives, professional athletes, celebrities, and more. Seaside Palm Beach offers first-class amenities and high-end accommodations, including a gourmet culinary experience, ocean views, pet-friendly facilities, and access to cell phones and laptops during your stay. If you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, please call us at 877-959-5053. Again, that number is 877-959-5053.
Hope. At Rosecrans, it's more than a wish. Hope has power. As the proven behavioral health leader in the Midwest, no other program offers our depth of experience and hope here at Rosecrans. And when someone you love struggles with substance abuse and mental illness, hope plays an important part in recovery. Life's got bigger plans for you. We should know. We're the most trusted name in treatment and the best choice for those who dare to hope. Visit us at rosecrans.org. Life's waiting.
Now, glutathione is a big word, but it's the body's own master antioxidant. So it's a scavenger for free radicals, for bacteria, and what's relevant now, viruses. This is new to the marketplace. There's no other product on the market that has the ingredient NACET.
And basically NACET increases the production of that glutathione that is in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system and keep it strong. Elevated sense of well-being. Supports muscle strength and endurance. Cognitive function. Powerful liver support. Energy. Helps blood sugar regulation. Superior bioavailability of key ingredients.
One of your best defenses against COVID is a strong immune system. Taking GSH Plus as a daily supplement does all that. And now we have the product out on the marketplace.